Hi, Polly here,
And this is Tortuga.
and this is Trek for Free Stories. Let's dive in.
Gilligan's Island meets Jurassic Park? Nope, just another one of our mishap adventures. This is what a sunset paddle on Copano Bay looks like when everything goes exactly as it shouldn't, and how you earn yourself a night paddle badge. The event was canceled. Aransas Pathways had planned a sunset paddle across Copano Bay, 3 miles, a community celebration at Murph Park, live music at the end. We had been looking forward to it. Then the email came a few hours before. Inclement weather, possible storm, event is canceled. That did not set well with Tortuga, so we did it anyway. We called in Ca-Caw, our daughter, named for her call sign that we use on trails to locate each other. And suddenly, what was supposed to be a relaxing community paddle became a family expedition. 2 kayaks became 3, plans shifted, equipment was reloaded. Ca-Caw, it should be noted, was not originally part of the plan and did not get the full briefing on what she was signing up for. None of us really did. We scouted the launch point at the Copano Bridge boat ramp and checked conditions at Murph Park. There were whitecaps in the middle of the bay, but staying close to shore looked manageable. We gave it a green light, and we went home to eat dinner because it was dinner time, of course. This is where the timeline started going wrong, though we did not know it yet. Between reading the event flyer and loading the kayaks, Tortuga and I had both convinced ourselves that the original paddle departed at 8 p.m. We launched at 10 minutes to 8. The first part was everything I wanted it to be. The wind was at our backs, the bay was calm, we were close to shore, and the light was still golden and beautiful. So, paddle, paddle, watch the sun, paddle, paddle, take a selfie. I was relaxed, Ca-Caw was relaxed. Tortuga was doing math. He wasn't wrong to be doing math, as it turned out. We rounded Rattlesnake Point at about the halfway mark, 8:15 p.m. The sun was beginning to dip, and we turned for the final stretch to Murph Park. That's when things changed. Headwind, 13 miles an hour coming straight at us. The same breeze that had been pushing us effortlessly across the bay was now something we had to fight through, stroke by stroke. The golden light that had been so pretty was now actively setting and not slowing down for us. Tortuga looked at me and said, "We need to push." I was pushing. I had been pushing. I told him so. My hands were blistering. My shoulders were burning. He kept thinking out loud, "We can't lose the keys. We don't have enough flashlights. If the wind kicks up more, we're screwed." And I kept paddling, trying not to let my mind go to the dark places his was already visiting. It went from paddle, paddle, watch the sun, to paddle, paddle, don't stop to breathe, paddle, paddle. Cook, to her credit, or possibly out of pure fear, was magnificent. She got ahead of us, a quarter mile, maybe more. She was moving. She disappeared into the dark before we could close the gap, and then we could occasionally see the flash of her light turning back to check on us. I watched her light start to vanish under the glow of a fishing pier and then disappear completely into the dark water. Tortuga held position beside me. We paddled. The wind was actually easing slightly. We could see the landing point. We just had to get there. And we did. Ca-Caw was already on the beach, light flashing, signaling us in. I heard her voice across the water before we landed. "Hurry!" There are mosquitoes, and then there is what was waiting for us on that beach. It had rained heavily earlier in the week, standing water everywhere, and the mosquitoes had organized. When Ca-Caw said hurry, she was not commenting on the darkness. She was at war. I could hear them before I could see them. A sound like a swarm of bees, thick and immediate. Tortuga had packed baggy clothes and a mosquito net for his face. He had suggested we all do the same before we left, but we had been busy thinking about the swimsuits. Ca-Caw got into the truck. Tortuga pulled on his net and loaded the kayaks. I helped as long as I could, and then I jumped in. The mosquitoes had followed us inside. Ca-Caw was photographing the interior swarm, which seemed approximately as thick as what was happening outside. We drove home with the windows down, only thinking it would help. The next morning, Ca-Caw showed us her arms and legs. If you have seen chickenpox, actual chickenpox, the full version, you have a reasonable approximation of what she showed us. She had bites everywhere. She had earned them. I think she earned more than just bites. We did the 3 miles across Copano Bay in the dark with insufficient flashlights into a headwind and landed on a beach that was actively hostile to human life. We laughed. We did it together. Nobody fell in. Nobody got lost. We made memories Ca-Caw will be talking about for years, possibly every time she sees a mosquito. And then, over coffee, Tortuga read the flyer again. Departure 6:30 p.m. Complete by 8 p.m. Not departure at 8 p.m. Complete by 8 p.m. We had launched at 10 minutes to 8. No wonder we were patting like it was a race. We had read the whole thing wrong from the beginning. The miscalculation that had been creating urgency since before dinner, the math that wasn't adding up in Tortuga's head, the reason I have blisters, all of it traced back to one misread line on an event flyer. It's life. It's fun. Danger lurks around every corner, no matter how prepared you are. And the thrill is real. So next time, we leave at 6:30 p.m.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Trek for Free Adventure Stories. If this sounds like your kind of expedition, give us a thumbs up, subscribe so you can catch the next one. In the spirit of adventurers of yesteryear and the storytelling legends of Louis L'Amour, I hope we find a place in your travels. See you on the road. Until next time, adios.